Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back. It's Jordan here. Today we're going to be building my double daily bugle. So everybody knows the deal about this set here. It is probably the best Lego Marvel set ever released. It is a Lego skyscraper. Yes, it sits on one 32 by 32 base plate. And today I'm going to be increasing the size of mine because recently I purchased another daily bugle and I'm going to use all of the parts from this set here to make this thing monster sized. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab a half base plate there because ours is actually going to be 1.5 base plates wide. I guess before we get started with modifying our daily bugle, we may as well have a quick look at the original model. So you can see the structure is centered on the base plate. The first two floors are taller and also wider. And then as we move up top here, it gets a little bit narrower. And of course, on top of the building, we have the daily bugle sign. This set is very modular. In fact, all of these panels can be pulled off like so. This one's all messed up because the Green Goblin. But they can all be pulled off like that there to reveal the interior details. And then also the floors stack on top of each other. So very modular indeed. I love how the building can come apart in a couple different ways to showcase those interior details that you can see there now. So the first thing that we're going to do when constructing our new and improved daily bugle is build a large mills plate. But even before I start with that, I had to make sure I grabbed myself a nice Tim Hortons coffee there. And no, Tim Hortons did not pay me to say that. My mills plate looks a little funny for sure, but the colorful areas will all be tiled off. And then the dark gray is sort of like the alley behind the bugle. I think I've decided that I'm not going to make the building any deeper on the plate. Rather, I'm just going to make it wider because then we have more face in the Lego City. Whereas if you go deeper, it sort of removes the alley and you can't really see that when it's placed on Pop Culture Street anyway. So what I'm going to start doing is dissecting the original model and sort of transferring this stuff over onto our new base plate. The transfer is going pretty smoothly. I decided not to do the interior details yet just because I don't know where exactly everything is going to go inside. And that actually includes the TV, the back door, and also the elevator. For example, I'm not sure if I want the elevator there or if it should be offset to the right side like it was in the classic model, if it should be in the middle or on the left side. And obviously if I make those changes to the base floor, then I have to change the elevator position on all of the floors. So just something to think about. I think the next thing I'm going to do is work on finishing the construction of our exterior walls on our first floor. So I ran into my first complication. So when I transferred the bugle over onto the wider base plate, just some studs are now misaligned and unevenly distributed. So you can see right here, I have 4 studs, which will allow me to put another window and one of these uprights. But on this side, I only have 3 studs. I have to bring these exterior walls out. Now this one here has the proper spacing for the newspaper stand. So if I want to keep that newspaper stand on this side, then I can't bring this out any further. But I don't know if I want to bring it 2 studs over to the left because that reduces this space significantly. And at that point, this space is pretty much pointless. I want to have the spacing on the building because this building has windows up top. So I want to keep some spacing for the windows. It's coming along pretty nicely there. We've got our first floor pretty much done. All the exterior walls are up. You can see I moved the newspaper stand just in front of the building. The reason I can do that is because I actually have sidewalk on my road, so it's no problem. There's still enough sidewalk so people can get by there. It's looking really good though. I just spaced it out perfectly, so these uprights are all 4 studs apart now, which is nice. I also made one modification to this sidewall here. I filled that in there. It used to have that part that would break out, and there's just not enough clearance when this is beside another building. So I moved that part right back here. I still wanted that play feature, and I decided to move it over here. So that works out nicely. And then inside there, I added another TV screen, and I'm still working on the interior details. I might move on to the second floor here just because I'm not sure what I want to do with the interior. If I just want to like replicate that desk and mirror it on the other side. For example, have another vending machine In the other corner, another newspaper stand, another row of chairs. I don't know if I want to just replicate it or if I want to do something different. And I'm excited about making this thing tall. I want to get the floors built before I start working on the interior. So I think the next thing we're going to do is hop onto the second floor, which is this one right here. It's pretty nice. I love how they have all the monitors inside there. It's a pretty neat floor. There's the elevator, so I got to make sure that lines up when we recreate our new floor. There you go. Now you can see how much bigger our new and improved Daily Bugle is. It's pretty much double the size. That's so extreme. I love it. So now I've got to decide how I'm going to construct this here. Should I build it from scratch, or should I just rip out the interior details, break down this wall, and try and expand it this way? I wonder which would be quicker. I guess we're going to find out. Immediately when I started ripping this floor apart, I was like, yep, I messed up. The elevator has to go on the right wall, because look at the windows, right? We can't have the elevator shaft running through the center of all the windows. It's just going to not look good. So I have to rip apart this first floor again and move this elevator to the right side, and then move this burst out wall there. So I'm glad I didn't do the interior details, that's for sure, because if the elevator goes in the corner there, which is for staff use, then I can put my desk right here and more seating over here when we get around to doing the interior details. So I got to rip this apart and move this elevator over there and move this panel that pops out over there where the elevator is. Well, I'm getting to know my way around the Daily Bugle construction pretty well, that's for sure. Fairly easy though to move that elevator into the corner there, and then our broken wall right there. And this actually makes more sense because now I'll be able to put the desk right there, sort of wrapping around the elevator for staff access, and then a larger seating area out here. Perfect. Okay, now I'm ready to move on to the second floor. And this is actually going to make it a lot easier, because now what I'm going to do is just take out this wall, which, as you can see, really easy to do, right? And expand it that way. Now I don't have to worry about expanding this way, so I can leave this elevator build intact and the staircase build intact, because this is actually built right into the wall. For example, if you move these newspapers, you can actually see the red plate built into the wall. So I'd rather not have to reconstruct that whole staircase, but now I can just build out this way. Yeah, my desk is a mess. It's just what it looks like when you're building stuff like this. Hey, but I got my parts neatly organized in my almond trays, right? All by part type. Works out pretty nicely. Look at that, got the second floor done. Oh, wow, this thing is so big. It looks fantastic. There's my hand for scale. Really excited about it. Once again, just gonna leave the interior for later, and check this out. This whole panel will pop off so that you can see the interior of the building. You can see I designed it the same way. And I'm not sure if I'm just going to build two of those. I might, just because this one sort of makes sense. You know what I mean? To have two desk stations there with all the monitors and just have more staff working in the Daily Bugle. So to be honest with you, I'll probably just replicate the interior on this side. Just sort of makes sense for this floor. But yeah, I'm really excited for moving on to the next floor. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to just finish the tower before I do any of the interior details. The next floor has Peter Parker's office, so that'll be going on top just like that there. I guess he's gonna have like a really big office, or I'll just make probably a couple offices. But yeah, same thing with this floor, just gonna blow out this wall here, expand it that way, so then I don't have to change the staircase or the elevator, and it's just like that, and I'll just boom, essentially build two of these and connect them really. The way I was doing it is I just pull off the support plates underneath and then just extend it out. So for example, I would take some more of these 2x16 plates, I'd remove this one and just extend it out that way, and then just sort of replicate what we got going on all the way across. And that's how we came up with this floor design. I mean, it's pretty much following the instructions, doubling up, and I'm actually having a lot of fun doing it. So I did a little bit of desk maintenance and organized some parts, and then I decided to pre-build all of these here. These are the snot towers. Yeah, I guess snot towers. That's what we'll call them. But these hold the uprights in place, and this build uses a lot of them. Also, this build uses a ton of these window panels that are all the same. So I decided to pre-build all of these. Just gonna make it easier as we look to build the next floors. A little less repetitive, like all the repetition happens at once if we do it in assembly line style, and also takes way less time just to do all of these things at once. So check this out. Now when I go to build this floor, it's like, bam, bam. Whip it together so quickly because everything's already built. Way easier just to do it in an assembly line style. Hey, this would have made a good time lapse. If I would have thought of that, could have built the whole thing like this in time lapse. Ah, nobody has time for that. Now this wall right here is a support wall. So I'm gonna need some sort of support wall in here as well. I really don't know what to do with this interior. The other ones seem pretty easy, but this one I'm gonna have to come up with some sort of specialized design. I would make more offices like Peter Parker's here, but then it's sort of strange how you have to like walk through Peter Parker's office to get to your office. Maybe I'll bring Peter Parker's office over here and then put some cubicles over here. That might work. Third floor's all finished up there. Getting ready to start the fourth. Oh, I just realized that I got my floors mixed up. Technically, this one should go here, but they're easy enough to swap up. So I'll make sure they're right in the end, don't worry. Is this thing legendary or what? Oh yeah, it's absolutely huge. It looks amazing. I am stoked on this thing. Ultimately, I would like to add one more floor, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that using the inventory that the two sets gave us. I mean, I could have made it really tall, but I decided to go wide. And it added so much to the build. These are the parts that I have left, like the crucial parts. I should have enough of those. I don't have enough of these, but I could probably space it out and make it work. There's not enough of the windows, but I have a lot of these windows in my inventory, so I should be able to make something happen here, I hope. I'm gonna scrounge through my inventory and see what we can do, but I'm really happy with this right now as it is. Like, I don't think it needs to be any bigger, honestly, but I may as well try and use these pieces to create one more floor. Well, it looks like I found just enough parts from our inventory here to add another floor. And I think that was necessary because the building is so wide, it needed that extra height. Oh my gosh, this thing is huge. There is still a lot of work that I need to do here to finish this thing up, such as the tiling around the exterior of the building, which is actually really well done for this set. Also, we need to add an interior to all the floors, and I've got some really good ideas brewing for that. There's also a bunch of sticker elements that I didn't use, such as these large TV screens. I need to decide if I'm going to double up those TV screens or if I'm going to use those elsewhere in the Lego City. To tell you the truth, I've got to find my sticker sheet. I am just famous for misplacing sticker sheets when I don't use them for a while, so I'm going to have to talk to the wife and find out where that went. But holy cow, this thing is huge. And I cannot wait to add an interior and do all those things. But this is where we call it a day for now. You can see how big it is and just how it looks from all sides. I love it. It is just epic. It is going to give the Avengers Tower a run for its money, that's for sure. Yeah, wow. And of course, when we get this placed in the Lego City, I'm going to use minifigures and sort of deck this thing out on Pop Culture Street and make it look really cool. I've still got one more day of building though. We've got to get that interior figured out, and that's something I want to sleep on. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed the process here as we doubled up our daily Bugle. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff, and farewell.